Hey guys, welcome to Lauren's Reality. As usual, I am Lauren. You are going to be really excited about today. If you watched our first video, I was telling a lot about my background. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. My background was primarily and is primarily in real estate investing. My niche in particular is single family rentals, but I've done almost all of the strategies that we're going to talk about today. We're going to go over strategies, and then we'll do another series later on that will go over niche market. Like I said, mine is single family rentals. We'll talk about that too. And then after this, any of these that you might be interested in, we're going to do breakout series for each one so that you can learn more about each individual category. So, the 15 best real estate strategies. The first one, I'm sure everyone has heard of. It's all over HGTV, which is fix and flip. And if you're not familiar with what that is, it's exactly what it sounds like. I am going to find a property. I'm going to make sure that I can buy it and then do all of the repairs and sell it at a level that I can actually make money. So that's number one. Number two is wholesaling. If you're not familiar with wholesaling, we're going to do a breakout session on this, so make sure you watch that because there's a lot of questions around it. What it is from a simple, like if you're going to look at it in a simple way, is I am going to get a property under contract and then I'm going to sell that contract to someone else. There are some legal things to make sure that you're aware of, and we'll go over those in the breakout session. Number three is house hacking, and it sounds really fancy, but all it means is that you're gonna look for a multi-family property, which means a duplex, a triplex, a quad, something with multiple units. You're gonna live in one of those units and you're gonna rent the other ones out, and we'll also go into that in a breakout session. Number four is a live-in, then rent. So you're going to live in the property for an extended period of time or a short window of time, and then you're going to move out of it and then rent it to someone else. And there's a lot of different strategies for how to time this right, and we'll go over those too. The number five is a live-in flip. I love this model. It's one of my favorites. I actually think that this should be called house hacking, in my opinion, because what it does, it allows you the ability to find a house to buy. Once you've found that house, then you want to make sure you're going to be able to build some type of equity into it. So it may need a fair amount of renovation, but it's something that you can live in while you're renovating and getting it up to standard. And then you just stay there for 2 years at least. What this allows you to do is to defer your capital gains. So you qualify for a capital gains exemption whenever you sell the property after 2 years, allowing you to keep your profits or more of your profits because you're not taxed at a capital gains rate. So we'll go over that too. Then you have number six, which sounds funny. It's called BRRRR. BRRRR stands for buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and repeat. This strategy is used to be able to buy rental properties, then pull your cash back out of them, buy another one, pull your cash back out, and keep doing that over and over and over again. Number seven is your short-term buy and holds. Short-term buy and holds we'll go into more detail on because they're very unique. In most cases, when I'm going to buy something and hold it, it's going to be a rental that I want to keep for an extended period of time. There are cases that I want to do a short-term buy and hold, which is typically anywhere from 5 to 7 years. And in those cases, I should know what tax liabilities come with that and what risk comes with that, which we'll cover too. You've got number eight, which is your long-term buy and hold. This is your typical rental portfolio. If I am trying to purchase properties and hold them for an extended period of time, then this is going to be a long-term buy and hold, especially if I want to like give them to my children or to my family whenever something happens to me. Number nine strategy is called a debt snowball. And this just means that much like it's a strategy that you can use with rentals. And what it allows you to do is if you time it right, you can buy a property, you can basically use the income that you're generating from the rental properties that you have to pay down your mortgage faster. And what happens is, it's like, if you've ever heard the penny rule on how things double or snowball over time, this allows your debt to snowball in a positive way. So you're able to pay off mortgages faster and increase your cash flow. So that's another strategy. Number 10 is your all cash plan. This is something that everyone wants to be in eventually, but in some cases we can talk about the plus and minus to using all cash. But if you're using all cash, that just means I'm buying everything with cash. I have no financing, no debt on any of them. Number 11 is your trade up plan. If you've ever heard of a 1031 exchange, which we'll cover in the breakout session, this is the ability very similar to when we talked about a live-in flip, except for I don't need to worry about a window of time, because I can live in it and then sell it within a short period of time, or I can roll profits from one property to another property without having to wait a certain period. So with those trade up plans, this just allows you to build equity as you go from one property to another. And it normally starts with a basic intro type property to the point where you can pay cash for a property that you really want. Then you have your number 12, which is really a strategy that's used in terms of financing, which is hard money. Hard money is exactly what it sounds like. It is hard in a lot of ways. Your rates are not as good, but if you also are going to look at it from an investment strategy perspective, if you have cash, this can be a good passive investment vehicle. So you may not have the experience to invest in real estate, but you could find service providers or people that are experienced in the industry and know how to source deals and get good results with a record to prove it, and you can invest in their success. You can charge them an interest rate. There's some laws and stuff that go into that we'll cover in the breakout session. Then you have number 13, which are discounted notes. Discounted notes, we're gonna make a clear difference between a discounted note and a toxic note. Toxic means that they're in default, and you have a lot more that goes into those. They're pretty tricky, but you can also buy discounted notes, which you can either make yourself. So if I bought a property for $70,000 and I wanted to sell it to the tenant that's in place in the property, and I was going to charge them $100,000, I could write a mortgage for them, and that's a note, right? That I could sell later if I wanted to, or I could hold on to and keep servicing that note over time. There are a lot of legal restrictions with that now with Dodd-Frank, and we'll cover that in the breakout session. Number 14 are your syndications. So this is another passive investment vehicle. This can also be active if you are an experienced investor, in terms of you have physically flipped or bought and hold or developed property yourself. Then if you know how to source the deal and make the deal happen, then you can coordinate a syndication. If you are a passive investor and you're looking for a place to put money and get a return with no work, you can invest into a syndication. This is where a group of investors come together and pool their money to invest in property, and then everyone shares in the return. You also have crowdfunding in this category, which a lot of websites are doing now, that we'll talk about in the session too. And then lastly, you have your last passive investment strategy is a REIT, which stands for a real estate investment trust. I obviously love REITs. My dog's name is Reet, if that tells you anything about me. REITs are basically like a mutual fund. So you're making an investment into a stock, essentially. Not all of them are publicly traded. Some of them are, most of them are privately held. But you're investing into a group of income producing properties, whether that is single family, whether that is commercial, retail space, office space. It can be a wide variety of things, but you're investing in a pool of money that's used to buy those assets. So hopefully one of these really was interesting to you, and you'll come back and watch the other videos. So make sure you check this playlist and watch anything that's of interest to you. Make sure you keep coming back and hit the bell to get notifications, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.